So have you ever been in a wave of energy where you are just hitting on all cylinders? From the moment you wake up, from the time you go to sleep, you are moving. You are in motion. You are thinking of new ideas. You're connecting them. You're putting them together. You're taking one brick and putting it on top of the other. You're moving slowly, but you're very persistent and consistent, and your days are flowing how you would want them to flow, right? And then all of a sudden, it just stops. The motion stops. It's like a dead ocean. There's no wind, there's no sun, there's no humidity. It's just the ocean. It's not crashing at the shore. It's not crashing on the pavement. None of that. It's just calm. That's at rest. Because this video, we're going to be speaking about how to reignite your purpose when you feel purposeless. When you don't feel purpose driven anymore, when you're not in that same purpose vehicle. It's like you arriving at the airport and you going to Enterprise to get a rental car. Yes, the purpose-driven car is called the purpose-driven car, and it's purple. So the purple purpose-driven car is a little bit extra. It costs $200 more to rent out for 4 days rather than the regular vehicle, a Nissan, a Honda, a Sonata. It costs, the base price for 4 days is $200, but your purple purpose-driven car costs $200 extra, right? You switch because your pockets switch. You weren't doing the same thing that is reliable enough to get you that purple purpose-driven car, so you have to downgrade. You have to move to the regular car. So your purpose, your drive is obviously different because you're at rest. Now, the first thing I want to mention, okay, is starting from the end first or starting where you first started. So let's break that down. Starting where you first started. So think of a time when you were unbothered. You weren't distracted. You weren't even feeling a glimpse of laziness, of procrastination. You weren't having it in your mind. There was no scarcity mindset floating around in your brain. Your psyche was always thinking of new ideas. Your dreams were hitting. You were executing. You were talking to people in real life. You were getting, a lot of inspiration, motivation from people. It was like a pinball game, pinball machine. It's just it's just hitting on every single angle, right? Think of that time. Who were you and what were you doing? Who were you and what were you consuming? Who were you and what were you thinking about? Who were you and how much did you daydream? Daydreaming is a powerful mechanism to kickstart your life, to kickstart your blueprint. Who were you and what were you doing? Because it's not about getting back. Listen to the verbiage. Listen to the language. I got to get back on track. I got to get back to myself. No. Because you were climbing. You were climbing the escalator. You were climbing the mountain, climbing the ladder. What you going to do? Go back to the first floor? You're stuck on this floor. You're stuck. No point in going down, especially when you don't need to. Don't go down. You have to stay here. You have to master and feel and synergize with this area so you can move ahead. Now, remember in school when you lost an item, maybe your bag, your charger, your phone, notebook, your textbook, and everybody around the school always used to tell you, go to the lost and found. First place, go to the lost and found. Even if somebody stole it, go to the lost and found. Now, once you get out of school, you kind of think about the systems that were in place for us to, be programmed, right? And you think, damn, well, is it that easy in life to just go to the lost and found? Whether it's there or not, is it just that easy to go to the lost and found and just look for the thing that we lost? Right? Because you can't be lost without somebody finding you. And you can't be found without the lostness part. So it's like, shit. If I'm in my journey and I do feel lost, I do feel aimless, I'm just getting up and doing shit or not doing shit, or even worse, I'm doing things that I really don't enjoy, and I continue that for years, months at a time, and I'm just slowly chipping away at my years of life, my years of vigor, okay? I'm lost. But what's lost can always be found, right? That's where you start. You start from there again, because you have to recreate your paradigm. You have to recreate your life. You have to recreate your paradigm. You have to recreate your life. You have to memorize this in your head. Recreate your paradigm. Recreate your life. I tell you all the time, it's about people addressing you the same way or different based on who you appear to them. They're going to continuously call you Jaden, little Jaden, until you start walking, talking, being JB. It's a different, it's a different mentality. They can't address you how they used to, especially if you check them and you mean what you say and say what you mean, especially that. So if you start there, if you start from that aimless, purposeless position, and you don't go down, you don't get lower, the only way is up, okay? That's thing one. Thing two, you got to get dirty. I know that sounds a little weird, right? You got to get dirty. Let me explain. Getting dirty means you got to be out in the field, because most of the time, especially young adolescent people, we fail to realize that anything that is at rest is not moving. It's not in motion. And we got to be in motion. So getting your hands dirty, being out in the field, getting dirt under your fingernails, you can't be afraid of that. You cannot be uncomfortable, because something that is not of use is broke. Mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally, financially, you're broke. You are broke. I cannot use this pen if it does not have any ink, if it does not write on my paper. I can't use it. So what do? Throw it away. And guess what? People forget about the things that are broke. Yeah, they're going to talk about it for a little bit. Yeah, it broke. My vacuum broke. My water jug broke. My sink broke. But as time moves on, they forget about that thing, because it's not in use. It's not in fluid motion. So you got to get your hands dirty. You got to be out there. Listen, you cannot be afraid and stagnant. Wow. You cannot be in fear and stagnant. You cannot be scared, yet you're in your bed all day. You cannot be broke and be in your bed. You got to choose one. You got to choose one. And just so happens you can't choose both. You can't choose both. Because if you are broke and in your bed all day, why are you in your bed all day? Because you just want to be in your bed all day? Or are you just broke? Okay, well, if you are in fear, go outside then. But you don't. You stay on the couch. You stay in bed, scrolling, binge watching shit. You got to choose one. You got to choose one. So you got to get your hands dirty. Get that dirt underneath your fingernails. And even if it's uncomfortable, you need it. You need to be in that uncomfortable position. especially all my fellas out there. You got to be in that uncomfortable position because that is what's going to transform you into a beast. A beast. So, that's thing 2. Thing 3. Okay? Talk to an elderly person. Talk to your grandma. How to reignite your purpose when you feel purposeless. When you feel unfulfilled, talk to somebody who is on that brink of fulfillment but slight sadness because they realize that their time is withering away from them, right? And their family, of course. Talk to your grandpa. Talk to your grandma. Real shit. Talk to them. Go drive and just get lunch with them. Or just pull up to the crib and just be outside talking. Help them out around the house, you know, because a lot of times they be by themselves anyway. And I don't really believe in, you know, putting them in a retirement or a nursing home. So they at a crib. Go help them around the house, man. Clean up, wash their dishes, vacuum, and just, you know, talk. Y'all can watch The Price is Right. You know how they be. Watch Jeopardy together, you know, for the one time. Because when you talk to an older person, man, it builds so much perspective. And I mean like 70 and up. 70, 75, 80 and up. When you talk to somebody with that much ups and downs, so many valleys. That's almost like going to Mount Rushmore or going to the Rocky Mountains. Like they got mountains on mountains on mountains they've encountered. And it's not for them to be like, oh, I did this and I don't want you to do this. Or since I went through it, I don't want you to go through it. Nah, it's just building that perspective. Perspective versus perception. The perspective stacks your life. The perspective stacks your abundant mentality. You see, the perception that can be, you know, gentrified and fooled every day, or it is. So, when you talk to an older person, man, it always, you know, I was talking to my grandpa, and he didn't know that I was doing YouTube. Now he's 73. He didn't know I was doing YouTube. He thought I was just streaming and I was still trading in the stock market, doing Forex, what I used to do. And I pulled up his phone, went on YouTube, and I typed in my name. He said, Jaden, this you? And he's watching a video right in front of me. He was watching the video right in front of me. And he was just shocked, like, Jaden, this you, right? And he stopped the video probably like a minute and some change in, and he said, Jaden. I was like, what's up? I was, you know, smiling, just taking everything in. He was like, Jaden, you know what you are? I said, what's that? He said, you are a presenter of hope. Wow. How is that for a fucking purpose boost? How is that? You are a presenter of hope. Like what you're doing, the things you're talking about, like I don't have to watch. And my grandpa and I, we very, you know, intellectually, spiritually, energetically, you know, high in the sky. So whenever we talk, it's always minimum of like 2-3 hours. But he was like, yeah, you are a presenter of hope. You know, what you're talking about and the substance, the value in which you're talking about these things and putting it on the internet for people all across the world. Like, he was like, I kind of wish there was something there for me decades ago, right? Man, like he would have loved going on YouTube, making videos, talking to everybody across the world, writing hella ideas and sending them to so he was like, yeah, man, you are a presenter of hope. Like, don't stop. Because you're essentially picking up the baton where I left it. And I was like, wow, that's deep. That's so deep. And after that, I went back home and I filmed like 5 videos. And I went to bed very, very purposeful, very intentful, you know? Yeah. So that's how you do it, y'all. That's how you do it. And you use these points every day. Go back to these points whenever you feel purposeless, because this is how you reignite your purpose to be the utmost valued, personable, and purposeful individual.